Are you pregnant, alone, feeling scared? I know exactly how you feel. When I was 17, I became pregnant, and I didn't know where to turn to for help. I didn't know where to go, who to talk to. So I had an abortion, and I've regretted it ever since. I recently found myself in the same situation and didn't know where to go, didn't know who to talk to. But this time I called Bethany Christian Services, and I cried and talked on the phone for almost an hour, and they listened to me, and they helped me. I chose life. I chose adoption. I did it for my little girl, Lynn. I only wish that I had called Bethany when I was 17. No, I was ashamed. I was very ashamed. I was the good girl, the good 17-year-old girl that went to church and did all the right things and made all the right choices and was going to college and made straight A's in school and went to church on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and was so ashamed when I found out that I was pregnant. I was ashamed for anyone in my family to know. I was ashamed of myself. I felt dirty. I felt that I had done something so wrong and so bad, and I wanted to try to fix it. And my knee-jerk reaction, my first reaction when I first found out I was pregnant was I was excited. I mean, I remember having a smile on my face because I saw that pregnancy test and I was pregnant, and you know, that's a good thing. And I remember going to the grocery store and buying milk and thinking, okay, now I've got to really take care of my body and be healthy. And then once I started thinking about it, the dread set in, and my mother had just died, and I had no one to talk to, had no one that I felt like I could go to for help. So the dread set in. I started wondering what was going to be in the future. Was I still going to be able to go to school? Where was I going to live? How was I going to support this child? Who was going to help me? I was terrified, and my mother had me when I was 17, when she was 17, and she had a terrible life, and I didn't want to do the same thing she did and make the same mistakes that she did. So once that set in and I started really thinking about it, when abortion came into my mind, I first thought that not something that I could do, because I knew going into it that it was taking the life of the child. I believed in my heart that it was murder. I knew that. I wasn't deceived. No one lied to me about abortion or told me that, you know, it wasn't a baby. You know, I wasn't tricked into it. But when I went in to have the abortion, I knew exactly what I was doing. And then once I did it, I set my mind to it just because I didn't want to hurt anyone else in my family. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to ruin my future. So when I had the abortion, I knew right away that it was wrong. And that's when I started becoming suicidal and trying to think of ways to get this child back, trying to think of ways to reconcile back to God, trying to think of ways to forgive myself for what I had done. But I couldn't deal with it. It took me 20 years to get over the guilt of abortion, and I still carry a lot of that guilt with me. Even though I've forgiven myself to some extent, that's a decision and a choice that I've made that can never be taken back. You know, we make choices in our lives that for different reasons or for different purposes that we can, you know, maybe in the future change that choice. And, okay, well, that was a wrong choice, so maybe I should do this or maybe I should do that. But with an abortion, it's final. And that baby is gone forever. I couldn't walk down the street without seeing a young infant or baby without being physically ill, wanting to go to that baby, wanting to hold my baby. And I couldn't because she wasn't there, because I had taken her life. And I couldn't deal with it, and I had nobody to talk to. I had no place to go, and I felt like I was all by myself. And, you know, it was terrible. It was the worst thing that I've ever gone through in my entire life. If someone's in the same situation that I have been in twice, you know, you feel that you're the only person in the whole world that's going through it at that very moment. You feel like you're out there all by yourself, that you can't tell anyone the truth because people are going to look down on you. people are going to be ashamed of you, your family, your friends, your pastors, your spouse, whoever, that they won't love you anymore and that they won't accept you because you've made a mistake. But that's not the case, and that's not true. That if you call someone like Bethany, if you open up and you talk to someone and you get help, you can see that you have more than one choice. You have more than one option other than taking the life of your baby, which is something that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. And even though adoption wasn't easy for me, I thought that I could do it. I thought that it would be something that would be fairly easy to do, that I could just kind of detach myself from it. But once I actually had my baby, I found out that that wasn't the case, that I wanted to keep her. But I knew that I couldn't. And Bethany helped me through it. And somebody that's pregnant, no, adoption's not easy, but having done it both ways, at least I can say that my baby's alive, and at least I can say I made the right choice and the right decision for her and for me. Bethany Christian Services has been so good to me. They listened to me when I was scared and didn't think that I had anybody to talk to. They became my friend immediately. They loved me unconditionally. They weren't judgmental. Even though I had made a mistake, they didn't magnify that. They talked to me like a real person and prayed with me on the phone and told me that everything was going to be okay, that it wasn't going to be easy, that this was going to be something, that I was going to have to take one day at a time, and it was going to be very hard. But they were with me every single day. They came to the hospital with me. They were there beside me. Terry came right to the hospital. She was there with me when I had my baby. She was there afterwards. They're still there for me. It's been 3 months since I had my baby, but I still feel like I can pick up the phone and call Bethany if I need to talk to someone, because I have some good days and some days are really, really hard. And when I do have those hard days, I know that I can call someone and talk to them, and it helps. If I had known about Bethany when I was 17, that would have really helped me to have someone that I felt that I could talk to, because I know now, having done it both ways, that I was not pressured at all. It was just someone there that was there to help me and to listen. And at the time, that's what I needed, was someone just to listen to me and not be judgmental, and to just love unconditionally. And if I had been able to call Bethany when I was 17, I believe that I wouldn't have made the same decision that I made. I would not have chosen to have an abortion.